I seriously love you so much. I have to like gush and tell everybody that now because life is just so precious. So here's the thing: we had an amazing leadership team dinner last night. I recorded the whole thing, only to find out that I recorded the second half of the thing. And so here's the thing: what God's done in my life is so important. It's worth recording and doing it again. So I'm going to re-record the first half and then switch over to video for the last half of the dinner. And I hope this will be helpful to you. I have been strapped into the front seat of a roller coaster, and that roller coaster has been God's miracle. This has been the most incredible experience of my life, and I don't even know how to explain it. I'm going to do my best, and I hope that this is helpful to everybody on our team. And I just want to say that I'm so grateful to serve Jesus with you, and I'm so grateful that He's with us in and through all things. And I know that more now than ever before. And so, what I want to do is I'm going to read a couple of verses that I used to teach last night. These are verses that have come to mean so much to me, and I believe means so much for you. And I just think that they're very helpful. And so the first one is this. It's Proverbs 16:9. Okay, Proverbs 16:9. So Proverbs, again, think of those like fortune cookie verses. They just kind of explain the way that the world works. This is the way God designed the world to be, and this is just a truth of the universe that has come to fruition in my life, and I know will in yours as well. Um, it says, "In their hearts, human beings plan their lives, but the Lord decides where their steps will take them." And as you know, this last year has been extremely difficult for me. I've been very open about it since December of last year, falling into depression and anxiety attacks and panic and all kinds of things that were not me and didn't feel like me and took over. I had 4 different episodes of really mental breakdowns, where I just lost all control and had to call a doctor for help or call you friends for help as well. And thankfully the church had been there for me and through me in all of those things. And the panic and anxiety stuff has just been overwhelming. It would Here's what it's been like for the last year: multiple times a day, without any thought of any anxious thought. Like, it doesn't mean that I'm thinking about a divorce or a bankruptcy or anything. I could be eating cereal with the baby, or uh, playing, or doing art or surfing. It didn't matter what I was doing. All of my adrenaline would dump into my body all at once, as though I had seen a bear or like being pulled over at gunpoint. Like, that level of adrenaline would just assault my senses. Um, I've dealt with that for daily, more than daily, for the last year, and then depression to the point where I don't feel like myself. And a couple of days, and I want to say there's been 2 or 3 good days in the last year where I really just woke up feeling like, good old happy Matt again, were lived in fear because I felt like it was so fleeting that it would be gone soon. And I just want to tell you that I'm healed. This is the craziest thing ever. So let me tell you the story because I know everybody wants to understand kind of how it went down, and I'm going to tell you the whole thing. So Wednesday morning, Christy was out for a walk, and I was sitting at the kitchen table with the boys. I was actually sitting at the fireplace, and I woke up on the floor 30 minutes later to Christy reviving me, and I had bit my tongue really bad, and I had thrown out my back, and I was very disoriented. I was very confused as to why I was on the floor and didn't know what had happened. And she said, "The boys said that you just collapsed, and Ryder sat at your head and prayed for you, and Liam agreed with him in prayer, and they waited for me to get home. But you need to get up, And I had I was supposed to have left for work. Had a meeting that was starting right then when I guess she had to have this conversation with me a number of times over 25 minutes because I was very disoriented. And so I had missed my opportunity to drive to work, and I was like, "Oh, well, my meeting is starting," and I jumped online and I Skyped into a meeting, and I was like, "Hey guys, I just collapsed. I don't know what's going on." And as I'm doing this, Christy is Googling, what do you do in this kind of collapse? And it's becoming very clear that I need to go to the ER, that this is probably more than fainting. And she calls and talks to a nurse practitioner who confirms that I need to come to the ER and find out what happened. And so they drop me off because Christy takes me there, and I go to the urgent care, and they say, wow, what you're describing with the tongue biting and the back pain and the disorientation doesn't sound like fainting. That's a thing, but this sounds a lot more like a seizure. So we want to run a CT scan of your brain. We're going to send you to the ER where they can take a picture of your brain, which will show if you had any kind of event that would have caused a seizure. So we'll be able to find evidence if that was the case. And if that's the case, we need to find out why. So went to the ER, and they took a picture of my brain and found a tumor. And after a year of working with doctors, taking different medication, doing all this self-care, all this spiritual self-care, surfing every day, getting in good shape, doing all of these things, it was such a relief to hear that there was something that explained it all. There was, and this is so insane, but there was well, it's gone now, a brain tumor, about an inch by an inch and a half, so sort of between a gumball and a ping pong ball, right on the fight or flight reflex of my brain. So literally the reason my body would just dump all that adrenaline with no warning is because there was a tumor growing on it. And so it was totally out of my control. But here's the thing, and the neuroscientist, when you're talking to a brain surgeon, it's like, well, literally is brain surgery for this guy. He's like, here's the thing, Matt, this seizure was the best thing that could have ever happened to you, because I'm a neurosurgeon and I want to take pictures of people's brains just to know what's going on there. And I would have listened to your symptoms, and I would have said, oh, there's so many more likely things than a brain tumor that's causing that. And I would have directed you to do all the things you were doing. However, because you had that seizure, it made me take a picture of your brain, and I'm looking at something that explains everything you've been going through for the last year, and I can take it out tomorrow. And it was like, please do that, and so it actually took 2 days just because it did. And I just want to thank everybody for being there for Christy. It's scary. It was scary for both of us, and she's got her hands full and is already very pregnant, and it's like you don't get maternity leave when you're a mom of 5 kids and 2 of them are special needs, and you've got homeschool. Like, you don't just get to take 2 months off to coast into pregnancy. And so my help really matters to her. And when I went out, she needed to be there for me, and family came in town. Many of you guys showed up in many different ways, and we're so grateful for our church family. So all that to say, I woke up from surgery myself after a year of struggle and difficulty, and a year that I wouldn't change, because it's made me a better Jesus follower. It's made me a better friend to people. It's made me a more compassionate person. I know how to take better care of others. This year of struggle has been super difficult, but I'm also grateful for it. And here's what I know, and this is just like the story just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. I was in pain, I was in turmoil, and I wanted deliverance. And I know that you've been there, maybe you're there now, where you go, God, I'm here, and I want to be there. And again, that verse, the Lord knows the plans of your heart. In fact, many times I think God gave us the plans of our heart. I think to when we wanted to be foster parents, and God gave us that dream, it's like we want to take care of orphans because that's what he says to do, and because they're the most valuable resource on this planet, and we have things to offer them. And yet our plan was just like, let's just sign up and do it tomorrow. But instead it was 2 years of struggle and difficulty of getting there, and the Lord leading us through that. And so I saw a diagram, and I'm gonna put it on the screen recently, that was like, here's my plan. And it's like, here's me, and here's where I need God to take me, and there's a straight line that I want God to use. And then instead, God's plan is like, well, first you're going to build a zip line, then you're going to take a ladder down here, and you're going to climb up there, and you're going to use a pole vault to get over there. And it's like God's plan may not look anything like we imagine it to look. But here's what I know. When you are walking with the Lord, first of all, you're never alone. I never felt alone. And as scary as it is to hear you have a brain tumor, I knew I was going to be okay. I mean, it was like good news for me, because it was like, well, awesome. Like, here we are in 2016, where you can take a picture and take it out with lasers tomorrow. And this is the answer I've been looking for. It wasn't the answer I was looking for, but it provided the answer. And I never for an instant felt like God was far from me. There were times when I felt far from him, but I always knew he was there for me. And I've gotten very good at drawing in toward him. And so I just want to encourage you with this next verse. And this verse is just, and I've got so many examples of how true this has been. Okay, this is Romans 8:28. This is like my new life verse, okay? It says, and we know that in all things, okay? Not some things, not sometimes, but all things, God works, not can work or might work or will, but God works to the good of those who love him. I know that I love the Lord. I know that you love the Lord, okay? Who have been called according to his purpose. Again, I'm talking to our leadership team, people who've taken their own time to take the real life discipleship course and set aside their own agendas to be on the mission of being people who help people find and follow Jesus. And so I know that this is us. Not only have you been called according to his purposes, but you've even said yes. And so this is talking to you, it's talking to me. God works all things to the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And here's what I found that this is true. He can work every single circumstance. I want to tell you just some of the most amazing stories of what has come out of, again, the worst news you could ever get as a 36-year-old dad and dad to be 3 weeks away from the, adoption and due date of your children. God has done the most amazing things. Okay, so I'm in the hospital and I'm being cared for by the SICU nurses. That's the special intensive care unit after surgery intensive care. And they're these like young 20-something girls with just enthusiasm for life and caring for people. And we spend a lot of time together. I mean, you're like a baby after you've had brain surgery. And Christy's there, and they take so much compassion on my wife. She's obviously very pregnant, obviously has a lot on her mind, and they work it out so that she gets free food and can sleep in the bed, and they bring her warm blankets, and they care for her, and they serve her. And after 6 hours of spending time with one of the nurses, she, because they check on you every hour, and so in the next morning she says, hey, would you guys tell me your marriage secrets? And I was like, marriage secrets? She's like, yeah. I've spent 6 hours with you guys, and I want my marriage to look like yours. I just got married a few months ago, and I'm new to this. And can you tell me, how to do this? And it was like, yes. Can I bring you a book? And I had someone bring our premarital counseling book. I have one here. This book that we, Things I Wish I Knew Before We Got Married, that I used to premarital counsel people. And so I was able to give her this book, and we started a spiritual conversation. In fact, we met all of these nurses who work together in the kind of night shift of the C wing or whatever it is, and the special intensive care unit. And we're now friends on Facebook. I gave this one a book. Another one is getting married in Hawaii right now. We're friends on Facebook, and we've been chatting back and forth. And when I got my walking privileges back, and I was on a different floor recovering, we kept coming down just to go visit them. And so God used us to draw them closer to the Lord, and that is amazing. And then complete strangers, okay? Jenny pointed out in our meeting that the prayer page for Pastor Matt has, this is like, when you just look at a page, it tells you how, whatever viral it is, has 15,000 people talking about it, okay? I've ridden some crazy waves in my life. I have never ridden a wave of focused and intentional international prayer. We've obviously gotten some attention before because our life is just insane with whales and babies and all kinds of nonsense that's always going on to us. But in this case, we got prayed for by the 700 Club on the air. We got prayed for by a church I was reached out to by a church in Australia who put our picture on the screen and prayed for us. Journey Church in San Diego did the same thing. Same with churches in Arizona, in Ohio, a church in Florida, and Australia and Kenya. Kenya, you guys, like that's amazing. And these are people who say, hey, we heard about this pastor and we heard about the work that he's doing, kind of like Paul writes these letters, in Colossians. Like, I've heard about the good things that God's doing in Colossae, and I want to be on board. And they immediately want to pray for me. And God listens to prayers. They're powerful. They're effective. They unlock his power on the earth. And he's absolutely healing me from the inside out and working all things to the good. Okay, I'm talking like Chris needed a break, and then we got a break in the hospital. It's like, what the heck? Like, I know that's crazy, but he worked every detail to the good. Okay, now this online business. Okay, I'm going to read you some more. These are complete stranger interactions that the Lord is using this story to bring people closer to him. Okay, as you know, I have my YouTube channel, and whatever that's about, for whatever it is, I have it, and I've created. 800 subscribers or something, and you create a relationship, a community around whatever your content is. And I want to read you this quote from a total stranger. This is just a fan, okay, somebody who comments on some of my videos. He in my update video where I let them know that I was okay. Dude, you're okay. I'm so happy, man. I hope this helps you feel better emotionally. You were so tough to try to get over something that was purely biological. Something that isn't social but freaking biological to try to get over, which is far worse. Listen to this. You're awesome, man. Can't wait to see you back in the water. No more stitches for us. He ended up getting stitches after I got stitches on my lip. He ended up having the same thing happen to him the next week. Your enthusiasm is infectious. I've been so down in the dumps about my job, its demands, and surfing. You and my girlfriend and parents are the only things keeping me okay right now. Are you kidding me? God's using my silly internet video update to help somebody feel better about their life. That's amazing, okay? And then, listen to this. So that's just, a username chrysanthemum on YouTube, okay? This is truly amazing. Instagram, okay? This guy comments. I don't know this guy's a complete stranger, and I like that about Instagram because it just, it's totally public. You are a great surfer. Thank you. I don't know about that. An amazing father, an even better, outstanding warrior of God, Matt. I look at your posts on the daily, and I think it does me more motivation and desire to live and worship Jesus Christ than any other motivational Instagram page can. Sending prayers your way, and I look forward to seeing you in the lineup once you're fully rested and healed. Hashtag God is good. Are you kidding me? Like a complete stranger being encouraged through my struggle. God using difficulty, pain, scary stuff to bring someone closer to Him. That's amazing, okay? I went to the city's, the day I got back from the hospital, I went to the city council member forum where they were doing a debate to kind of just, because I care about our community and I know that everybody on that stage is running because they care about our community and I want to know the direction that it's going, and I wanted to be there. And after almost losing so much, everything is so precious, and I just had to be there. And jaws were on the floor, guys. They recognized me from the stage. One of the city council members, Mark, was like, "Is that Pastor Matt?" And he literally, the whole room gave me like a round of applause and just couldn't believe that I was there. But I couldn't not be. I love this place. It's my heart and my soul. And I want to read you something that has happened because of the Facebook page. Okay, so people couldn't believe that I was there and stuff, and it started a conversation because online when people were asking about the forum, people mentioned it and it kind of came up. And this is a total stranger to me, okay? But again, 15,000 people are talking about this Pastor Matt has a brain tumor thing, okay? This is Stephanie Gaston Cox, somebody who lives in Imperial Beach. You make me want to start church again. It's love, not religion. And I said, oh, I definitely like you, Stephanie. That's something Jesus would say. Come check us out at Eastlake Church, Imperial Beach, anytime. I think you'd feel right at home. And then someone else chimed in, dude, if religion's not about love, then it really isn't about Jesus. And it's like, I've had so many people comment, like, I don't know you, but just seeing the way that your church is caring for you, just seeing the way that you have hope in this situation is making me want to know your God. Are you kidding? God can work all things to the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purpose, okay? Now, here's the deal. We were planning on, it's funny, but Wednesday morning after my seizure, I woke up and when we thought it was fainting still, we're still trying to have this thing because I was supposed to go into my meeting and present my FMLA leave plan at work. And so Christy and I were still trying to talk out the details of this plan because the Lord has been very clear to me. And I mean, really a word from the Lord of just hey, Paul says this, it's scriptural, okay? Your first priority is your personal relationship with Jesus. Your second priority is your relationship with your family's relationship to Jesus. And then your third important is your relationship with the church. And so I would be neglect of my responsibilities if I put the needs of the church before the needs of my own family in this season that we're entering, okay? Because we're about to adopt 2 kids. We're about to have a baby. My family needs support. Paul says, hey, if you're going to be a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, which of course he's encouraging everyone to do, he says it's better if you don't get married, because if you get married, you're going to have other priorities that come first. So he's just saying, just for purely strategical purposes, it'd be better to just be single if you want to just live your whole life for Jesus. But in this case, what we're actually called to do, as many of us are married, is love the Lord, our God, first, with all our heart, our soul, our mind, okay? Then lead our family to do the same. And then our third ministry is to be people helping people find and follow Jesus through the church. And so we do that. And I was very convicted that the Lord was very clear with me to not neglect my first ministry to my family in this season. So what's something that's super important to me is that we're going to take some time to time off when we adopt these kids, because in California, you can take your job's protected. You can take time off if you adopt kids or have a baby, even if you're a dad. And I want to do that because I don't ever want our kids to feel like we got stuck with them. Like, oh, well, no one could take us, and so you guys took us. No. I want them to know, are you kidding? Dad took months off work, and we went to Disneyland, and we camped in the backyard, and we made memories, and we did stuff. Like, I want them to know that this has been a long time coming and that we are so excited about them. So that's really important to me. I need to support my wife and my family as we have a baby and adjust to a sixth child with, our special needs kids and all these other things that are going on. And so I was planning on taking off from now until Thanksgiving. Now, again, God can work all things, even the craziest details, to his good, okay? Because we work for a nonprofit, I get all the job protection of FMLA, but I don't get the disability pay. So we were actually going to be unpaid for 2.5 months. However, the Lord's blessing and by his providence, I had a brain tumor, and so I'm actually on medical disability. And so I'm actually going to get paid 60% of my pay to take the leave that God already told us to take. I mean, are you kidding me? The Lord has blessed us so directly and can work all things to the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. And so now we're going to talk details real quick, okay? And I'm going to overlap with the other video. I'll try to cut this in a way that makes sense, but here's where we're at, okay? I am on medical disability. If you want to see, and I know I talked through in that night, I actually explained how this whole thing worked, but my scar is pretty heavy duty, dude. This is like hardcore recovery. They opened my brain, okay? So they took this and they peeled it forward. Then they cut a circle like this. They actually removed a piece of my skull. They have lasers that are projecting a 3D image of what the thing looked like, because they had really clear pictures of it and stuff. And so they're literally cutting along these 3D lines and removing it, and then they put it all back, staple it shut with these super cool, like titanium, ultra awesome, staples or whatever, and put it all back. But it's traumatic brain surgery, and I have serious limitations on my abilities. I'm on doctor's orders to not work for 2 months until I get a doctor's note. Also, because of the seizure, it is a loss of license event. Anytime you have a seizure, your license gets suspended. So I don't have a driver's license right now, which is sort of nerve-wracking when your wife is 8.5 months pregnant and has a tendency to have babies in the car on the way to the hospital because she can't drive and deliver, and I can't be the wheelman, and risk our lives. And so it's a little intense, but here's the thing. God's brought me through so much. I know he's got a great plan for baby Indigo. And so I'm not afraid at all. This is faith, not fear, man. This is my new life, the new song of my heart. And so here's the thing. I know that we all have places that we know God wants us to be. He knows the plans of our heart. He put them in. He will determine the steps. The steps may look like a crazy zip line and a crazy, water moat full of whatever. It may look like a brain tumor. I don't know. But I can say that at the end, when you've walked it out with the Lord and he's never left your side, he says he'll never leave you or forsake you. You'll be grateful that you did it with him, and you'll be amazed that God can and does work all things to the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. I'm so glad to serve alongside so many who are. And so here's what the church is going to need over the next few months. We're going to need you to step up. And so I'm going to tell you a story of my friend Rick Warren and what happened when he had to step down for a family emergency, what happened in his church, and what I'm praying will happen in our church. So I'm going to transition back to last night and kind of end this video. I love you guys so, so much. So imagine if pizza arrived, and then here's the rest of the video. All right, so pizza intermission is over, but continue to munch along. So I was about to tell you about Rick Warren. Okay, so Rick Warren is one of my biggest heroes. Absolutely, wrote The Purpose-Driven Life and gave back every dollar he's ever made from the church because he wrote the best-selling book of all time, and he tithes 90% of his income and lives on 10. Like he's just an amazing man who is anointed by the Lord to do the most amazing things. And he told us once that he sees his ministry as a bifocal ministry, that his
focus is Saddleback Church in the Saddleback area, which they've reached 85% or something. It's like it's almost the whole community now goes to their church. And the other focus of his ministry is to pastors, to planting, equipping, and leading pastors to do the most effective ministry of their lives. So 2 years back, his son Matthew, who was struggling with a lot of mental health issues, committed suicide, and obviously that was really horrific for them. And he was like my age at the time, so like in his 30s, and not reborn, but the son. And he took 6 months off, and it's the fastest growing, most successful mega church in the world, And the lead pastor, who wrote the books and preaches the sermons, went on leave for 6 months to recover with his family and with the Lord, and the church grew, and more people were reached. They planted more churches. Like, God continued to work and use Saddleback Church and continues to this day. I fully expect that to happen over the next 2 months. Like, the way I look at this is I'm going to get out of the way, And so I just want you to know I'm so confident that the church is in your hands and in Armando's capable hands, and that ultimately it's not really any of those things, because it's always been the Church of Jesus Christ. It always has. So as much as people may like me or attribute my face to anything, I'm trying to get away from that as much as possible. It says that even Jesus didn't consider equality with God something to be grasped, but instead came as a servant and humbly to serve those around him. So, like you said, George, wherever he went, be a friend. That's what we're called to be. So I feel really good about the future, and I'm excited. I'm going to be attending the church. I won't be leading the church. What will that look like? Some weeks it'll probably look like I can't get out of bed, and I need to go online. Other weeks it'll look like I might come sit on the parent viewing room with baby Indigo, and that'll be awesome. I hope that I get to do that. I'm excited to, for the first time since the launch of the Tijuana campus, not have a direct conflict, and we'll have adopted the kids, so we're actually allowed to travel out of the country. Like, I spent a year planting that church, and I've only been able to go once, and so I'd love to just go see TJ one time. But just know that I am fully invested, whether you see me or not, and please do everything you can to continue to do what we do, which is meet people, helping people find and follow Jesus. All of you are in this circle because you lead, and that means that you have teams that you help shepherd and that you help encourage. You have growth groups that you help influence, and we are the eyes and ears looking every weekend, not for, there's Crystal, she's my buddy, I can't wait to tell her all about my, what happened in between my Facebook blurbs, no, it's, hey, that looks like, someone I've never seen before. Let's find out their story, and can I introduce them to this person or that person, so keep your eyes open, be ready for that. Be open to whatever Armando needs you to do, and be on your teams. And I don't mean on them, but I just mean be there for your teams, and find out who's going to be where. And if you have it looks like it's going to be short, people are willing to jump in more than ever before. This is it's tugging on the heartstrings, and it's I fully expect God to, and I'm asking God to work miraculous things in my absence, and I fully expect to come back wow, what am I even doing here? Because this has never been about me or my abilities, and it continues to not be. We are part of such a blessed position where we're in a network of churches, and they can just send somebody out, and it's so I will still be there. You'll still see me, but I'm on seriously limited duty. I can tell I pushed it too hard today, and I can't keep doing that. I have to recover. So do everything you can to be there for the church, and I know God's going to show up. Here's what the timeline looks like, okay? We have one big event between now and then, and that's Halloween at Eastlake. It's always a good time. Obviously, Jenny and I had been sketching it out. That's about as far as we got with details. So we're going to need help, and we're going to need ministry team leaders to jump in and do stuff. And so Jenny and Armando will be in touch with you about, what do we need, how can you help? We're going to have games, and we're going to cook food and do fun stuff. And again, just keep an eye on why do we do what we do. We're basically running the game plan that we've run before, so you'll recognize the calendar. But it's why do we do Halloween at Eastlake? Because we're taking something that culture's already excited about, and we're saying, hey, let's use it for God's glory. You've already spent money on a costume. You're more likely to come to church if I tell you we're going to give you candy and you can wear it again. And they go, okay. And they come. And then lots of people go, well, that was fun. I didn't know church could be fun. A person on my Prayer for Pastor Matt page that was just this sounds like the family I'm missing, and I need that in my life. People will find and discover that. So the other piece that's going on right now is growth groups. I know, how many, everybody's in a growth group right now currently? Yeah, so we're in week 2. I know for myself, and I posted about it last night, but it's just, I'm overwhelmed at the way God is working in our growth group, and that is happening all over the place. I talked to Kelsey and Garrett today, and their young couples, or the young adult group. It's just such a need being met in our church, where young adults, we have enlisted military people all over the place, so there's young adults everywhere, but they come to our church and they see the most visible people have kids and have lives, and so they think, oh, there's no one like me here, and that's not true. They're all just not as noticeable, and so having a place for them to plug in has been so key. People are just really resonating with that. We've got really people with good leadership ability, with good hearts for the Lord, gathering together and doing something really fun, and Armando's helping to lead that, which is kind of neat too. So I'm excited what that's going to do for the growth of our church, but just be game on when it comes to your growth group, and that means shepherding people. Again, remember, these are scary spiritual steps that people are taking, and it's very easy to become insecure, it's very easy to fall away, it's very easy to drift, and as leaders, we have the opportunity to not bust balls, but to encourage people. Hey, how's it going? Tell me about your growth group. Did you make any friends? Oh, you didn't make it. Okay, well, can I help you get there? Figure out some of those solutions for them, because that really makes a big difference. And then, like I said, I'll be back Thanksgiving weekend. That'll be my first weekend back. I'll probably preach that weekend, and then, but I will be available. I'm still here. You can come get a hug, but be aware that it does. I have emotional reserves, and it visits longer than 5 or 10 minutes tax me, and then that taxes the whole family, and we all pay for it. So just be aware. I really do want to see you, so don't hear that as give me space. I want to give each and every one of you hugs every day. But just be aware of what's going on, and think through nap schedules and time schedules. Just be considerate, because I'm recognizing the limits are very real today. And so my enthusiasm and love for everyone was kind of eclipsing maybe some of the wisdom and what recovery should look like. And so I've got lots of follow-ups with doctors to find out, more about the pathology of, what do we know about it? What can we learn about, my future, as well as what does treatment look like, and, how does recovery look? But it's all looking really good. And other stuff, I got in touch, a media person in IB got in touch with me today to let me know that he wants to do anything he can to promote our church and anything that we do ever for free. Paul Spear with I Dig Imperial Beach. Yeah, he's such a great dude. And again, that came out of that city council thing. And and our prayer page, and it was so cool. But one of the things that I'm working toward, and Armando and I are going to touch base on this, I want to do something. This is my big dream for 2016, is that we offer, instead of doing a Christmas Eve service at Mendoza Elementary, we do a public Christmas Eve service at Veterans Park or at the Pier Plaza. And it's not an Eastlake church service as much as it is, hey, we're going to do a public Christmas Eve service. We know we can kill carols and we can make that fun. And I can preach a message that's friendly to everybody. And I think that if we could get people to not come to our church for our thing, but go to a family-friendly, amazing, outdoor, really fun thing, the potential for God to use that to get the word out. And again, I'm just shocked at how having 15,000 people online talking about our church is making all these people who never knew it was there go, I didn't know that was there. And it's 6 years of so much work. There's probably 1,000 people that go there, and there's only we've got 4 or 5% of the community goes to our church, and yet 90% of them still don't know about it. And so it's the idea of doing something like that. And I'm the mayor messaged me to let me know he can't wait to see my positivity back out in the lineup and me out there. And it's we're in the best position we've ever been to do something like that. And we have, I know Candy Unger and all these people who would help us figure out how that looks. So we're going to figure out what that would look like, because we need to advertise for it and plan for it. But it'd save us some dough. We wouldn't have to rent the school, and we might have something else to do. We might have to set up a Boys and Girls Club for the first time ever or something. But who knows? So I'm really interested in doing that. So I'll be be praying about that, and be asking God to open the doors and shine the lights on bright. Because once that idea showed up, it was well, we need to and God would use that. And man, would that be fun. We've got Christmas Comes to IB is coming up, Halloween at Eastlake. Things generally calm down kind of between Thanksgiving and Christmas a little bit. Growth groups up until then, so just stay focused and just have that attitude of how can I help, and be looking for ways that you can solve problems. Just jump in and do it. You don't need permission. You don't have to run everything by Armando or Nathan or anybody like that. If you see something, do it. And if you see somebody looking around lost, put your arm around them. Not in a creepy way. Maybe put a public service announcement if you're like me and you're going to just do that to everyone.
Are you a little lost, Nathan?
Yeah.
Are you a little lost?
There you go.
I am now.
Right? Don't make it weird. Yeah. I'm a hugger now. Okay. So that's all I got. Does anybody have any questions? And I'd love to address anything if there's specifics. Okay, well, I just know that I love you guys so much. I actually had them prepare a song. So we're going to sing Your Love Never Fails, because God's love never freaking fails. He can work all things to the good. And I'm talking all things, even the worst suffering and the hardest time in your life and the worst news you could ever have and the worst timing that you could ever have. God can use it all for His good. And so we're going to sing this song. And I just kind of texted Armando 20 minutes before he got here, like, hey, I have a guitar, can you play it? So do your best to sing along. I know we don't have the floating lyrics like we're used to. And I apologize that you'll have to hear me sing. Okay.
Play loud. No.
Play loud.
Nothing can separate me far away. Your love never fails. I know I still make mistakes, but you have new mercies for me every day. Your love never fails. You stay the same. You stay the same through the ages. Your love never changes. There may be pain in the night, but joy comes in the morning. And when the oceans rage, I don't have to be afraid, because I know that you love me, yeah. Your love never fails. No, your love never fails. The wind is strong and the water's deep, but I'm not alone here in these open seas, 'cause your love never fails. Oh, the chasm was far too wide. I never thought I'd reach the other side, but your love never fails. You stay the same through the ages. Your love never changes. There may be pain in the night, but joy comes in the morning. And when the oceans rage, I don't have to be afraid, because I know that you love me. Your love never fails. You make all things work together for my good. You make all things work together for my good. You make all things work together for my good. You make all things work together for my good. You say the same through the ages. Your love never changes. There may be pain in the night, but joy comes in the morning. And when the oceans range, I don't have to be afraid, because I know that you love me. Your love never fails. No, your love never fails. Your love never fails. Oh.
Awesome. Dude, great. I know, it's hard to even stop. And can we do Oceans too? Is that cool?
Yeah. You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep. My faith will stand. I will call, and I will call upon your name, and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours. You are mine. Oh. Sing your grace. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fear surrounds me, you never fail, and you won't start now. So I will call upon your name, my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours, and you are mine. Upon the waters, wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. The Spirit lead me when my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters, wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet
Everybody grab hands. I'm going to pray for us. And then, Armando, when I close, would you just lead out in just one quick prayer for my family specifically?
Yes.
Thank you. Jesus, Lord, I praise you because we are fearfully and wonderfully made, Lord, and your works are good and they are wonderful. And Lord, I'm so blessed to be one of them still. And, God, I believe the words of those songs, that you are with us in all things. And Lord, even when things are the deepest, your presence is there the most. I told somebody this week that, dude, the light's the brightest at the end of the tunnel, and I've seen you more clearly than I've ever seen you before. And Lord, I'm so excited to show your light to others. And so, God, I pray for our church. Lord, I pray that you would bless, use, grow, and use it to help people connect with you, to help people who are far from you to find and follow you. And Lord, when I say our church, I don't mean our organization. I mean the people in this room holding these hands. Lord, that you would use each one of us as your instruments. And I thank you that I've seen how powerful that can be. And Lord, I know that each and every single one of us loves you and has been called and even accepted your call. And that, Lord, we are called according to your purpose. So I believe that you will work all things to the good. And I thank you that you do. And Lord, I'm just so grateful to be here. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of my friends here. And Lord, I pray for the future of our church over the next few months. I pray for the future of our family. Lord, we're excited to see what you bring and how you bring it. I know it'll be something that, people couldn't even write this stuff. But Lord, you're more creative than we ever could be. And you can make a blue whale. What the heck? So Lord, I just pray that you would show up, and I pray that you would use us mightily to reach the people of Imperial Beach who are in your name we pray.
Amen. Let's put, if you don't mind, putting our hands on Matt and Christy as well.
Yeah.
So we can pray for them. Father, first we come with thanks for the reality that you preserve Matt, for the reality that you love him beyond what we could ever love him, even combined. And for the reality that you're not done. You're not done with the Henrys, you're not done with Chrissy, you're not done with Matt, you're not done with the babies, you're not done with the kids, you're not done with what you have to do in a day. And right now, God, they're in a season that Matt, because of who Matt is, continues to focus on you and has turned his heart to joy in you, in what you've given him. But most people, God, would be depressed, would be sad, would be stressing. What I ask you right now, God, is that you be powerfully upon them. That you surround them with your presence, you surround them with your strength. And when Matt and Christy open their eyes, automatically their mind and hearts goes to you, where they find their strength and their joy. I ask you, God, that during this season, you heal them. You heal Matt. You bond them together. That they celebrate Ashen and Carson becoming Henrys. You made them both before the foundation of the world with plans for them to be in the Henry family. We also pray for baby Indigo, who you also chose to be in this family, to shape Matt and Christy to love you more, to love each other more, and to lead her towards you. So I ask you that this is a good season. An unexpected season, but a good season. To us, it's wild. But like Matt said, your providence, the way that you arrange things, are perfect. And if Matt would have not passed out, we would have never known. So thank you that although it was wild, you're still in the midst of this. You have not abandoned them, and you're providing still. So now I ask you, God, that as we get ready to allow Matt and Chrissy to get some rest from the work duties at church, that you fill them with the joy of seeing what you've actually been doing for these past 6 years that I've been through their lives. And as they sit in the chairs, they see, oh my God, God's been moving. And sometimes it's hard to see in the midst of all the crowds and in the midst of all the work and in the midst of all the doing, but God has been moving in this community. I ask you that the kids also be easy on Matt as a dad, especially more than ever since he's going to become older time. And then Matt also could have the strength to be able to support Christy during the season. And I thank you, God, for what will be, for what we'll see, and for the fact that the Henrys are coming back, recharged to do the work you've called them to do. I thank you that we get to be part of this journey with them, and that you're in control. You will always be in control. And I thank you that Matt knows that, and Christy knows you. I ask you lastly, God, fill them with peace, fill them with joy, and let Christy have a great birth.
Yes.
And it won't be in the car, God. So. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Mine's great.
Thank you. All our births are great. Yeah. Great Scott. Yeah. Great Scott. I love each and every one of you guys.
We love you.